Silent Land, original title Cicha Ziemia, feature debut of director Aga Woszczyńska. It's a Polish-Italian co-production, a philosophical drama disguised as a crime thriller. The film follows a Polish couple, eerily looking blondes, dressing in the same style, being weirdly stiff around one another in an opening that kind of resembled the works of David Lynch for me. They arrive on Sardinia, where they rent out a house for the summer holidays. Once there, they discover that the swimming pool, which was one of the main features of the house, is not working. It's broken down. So a young guy comes over, sent by the landlord, to repair it, and then a tragedy happens. Something happens to the man, which will throw the entire summer into disarray and cause the seemingly ideal marriage to begin showing cracks in its structure. So first things first, this is an incredibly slow film. It moves at a glacial pace, and that goes both for the script itself, which features very few key events, but also for the style in which it is shot. The camera is largely static, immobile, watching from the distance, often in silence. If it moves very slowly. And also often it cuts away to show us long shots of waves crashing into the shore, or the rocky cliffs, or the house garden. And I feel all of this was very deliberate to kind of show and establish that this isn't a story and a change that takes place immediately in an instant, but rather a drawn-out, slow-burning process. And I kind of get that, but even then, for me, it was just a bit too slow. Now, what the movie is really about is, I think, guilty conscience, a realization that you've done something wrong, and then trying to live on, trying to silence that little voice inside of your head. And as much as the film wants to pretend it's about that guilt in both the husband and the wife, it really is more about Adam, the man in the relationship, and about the way that his guilty conscience causes the sort of deconstruction of his masculinity, of his role as this solid rock who is dependable. There's a scene at the beginning which directly tells us that Anna, the wife, likes him to show confidence and take action, and so when he doesn't, that immediately changes the way they look at each other and interact with one another. Now, this all sounds very interesting on paper, but there is one problem for me. I have already seen this film. The 2014 movie Force Majeure, a Swedish film, features a conflict that is almost exactly the same in its structure. Yes, the setting is different, it's a ski resort instead of a Mediterranean island, but the way the plot is constructed and the way the themes are explored are almost exactly the same. And that is a problem because Force Majeure was a movie that fascinated me far more when I saw it. So by sheer comparison, Silent Land just doesn't strike as hard because it's like watching the same philosophical debate a second time. And it's also, I think, not as well put together. I mentioned that the pace was a bit too slow for me. I also think that the film suffers from the same disease that seems to plague a lot of other Polish cinema, which is that the dialogue and its delivery is often unbelievably stiff. It's like watching mannequins talk on a theater stage. I also think that there is a strange subplot in the film that doesn't really go anywhere, with soldiers being on the island and the world apparently undergoing some sort of upheaval, whether it's alternate reality or some real events. It's not really said explicitly. It's sort of mentioned in passing. There are things that happen in the background of the film, but it never really serves any purpose. So I thought that was kind of weird and distracting and out of place. I did admire the sound design and mixing. I think that the film is technically very well done on that front. And the Italian police characters give some much needed levity in the film, so I like that as well. On the whole, I will put it like this. If you like really slow burning dramas, you might give this one a chance because it's not a bad film and it explores a genuinely interesting concept. But then again, why not choose the better film of the two and watch Force Majeure instead?